Hello, and welcome to Patch Math, where today we're going to talk about how Patch Math came into being. But before we do, I want to extend a special, heartfelt, overwhelmingly amount of gratitude for my students and for my parents who stuck with me through 2025. As many of you all know, 2025, you all saw a different Kayla. A lot of my clients, a lot of you guys have been with me since, gosh, some of you all have been with me since I started, back before Patchmouth was even a thing. And you saw me and prior to 2025 be on the ball and never miss a lesson and never be late and never oversleep and rarely ever need to reschedule and rarely ever take weeks off to having to take some leaves of absences in order to be there for Cutter as he lost his battle to cancer. And you all were more flexible for rescheduling. Thank you. And I am forever grateful because I had the most human experience this year. And the number one thing I'm grateful for is what I got out of the lessons. I could be having the worst day last year and worried about Cutter, stressing about everything. Sit down and had a lesson, and then start asking your students questions and writing what they tell me on the whiteboard and talking with them about their understanding and helping me understand how they're visualizing things. And I would just light up. I get so excited when I see your students succeed, but I also get so excited when I see your students make a mistake, or when I see my students, hi students, when I see you make a mistake. If you're my student, you know during lesson you make a mistake. Majority of the time, you're like, oh my gosh, you made a mistake. That's okay, but I'm so glad you made it, and here's why. This is what we can learn from the mistake. I know through my own journey in education as a stressed out student, to a stressed out tutor, to a stressed out teacher, that stress in math hindered my true understanding of it. When I touched math, I felt anxiety, overwhelm, needing to do it perfectly, in addition to feeling shame and shut down. And it wasn't until I learned to make mistakes, learned to learn from those mistakes, that my anxiety around math started to disintegrate. If you've been with me since prior to 2024, you saw a different Kayla too. A lot of your students saw me get really anxious if I made a mistake during lesson. Now, they don't happen frequently, but I'll make a mistake. And I should be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I made that mistake. I wasn't modeling what I was doing for them. And it is Cutter Smith, the VCEO and my partner, who helped me understand that I needed to practice what I preached. And that's when my relationship with math improved. That's when I became better educator. That's when, if I made a mistake during a lesson, I'm like, hey, this is how I caught the mistake. Because I have check systems. I check everything. I want to put your mind at ease. Everything is checked during the lesson. And if there is a mistake, it will be caught during or after the lesson. So they're rare, few, far in between, but they're important learning opportunities that I can model that growth mindset where I go, oh, haha, or here's this awesome thing that I learned to catch this, and here's what we can learn from it. I find that many of my students come to my lessons with a negative emotional experience attached to mathematics. And I never really truly understood why I got like good reviews and things when I started tutoring. I thought I was just a teacher. Um, but again, it's Cutter Smith when we were sitting down spitballing ideas about how to form patch math that helped me go, you care about more than your students learning math. You care about how they feel while they learn math. And I do. I want your students to come to the lessons, even if they carry dread from school because of standardized testing and stress and pressure and all these things, all these realities that I can't undo, that harm their emotional connection with math. And they come to my lessons, or they come to our lessons, and every pathway to improving a student's relationship with mathematics is different depending on the student. And it's magical to discover and to see. Now, I don't expect every single student to love mathematics just because they've had lessons with me. But I have seen that every student's relationship with mathematics has improved. Now, I'm not one of those drill and kill instructors. If you are a parent and you expect your students to come to my lessons or our lessons, I don't know why I keep saying mine. It's our classroom. Your students collaborate with me. If you expect them to come to our lessons and do 30 problems, it's just not gonna happen. I don't do drill and kill. I don't do, here's this stress that you're going to experience on your exam, that you experience in your class, that you experience at the end of the year. I don't replicate that. They get that enough everywhere else. Now, I know they have to meet the standards, but I also know that test taking anxiety isn't just fixed with tips and tricks, especially with mathematics. Test taking anxiety with mathematics happens where students have this fixed mindset of, I'm just not good at mathematics. And that's rarely ever true. Usually they're just not taught mathematics in a way that they learn it, or they're not taught mathematics in a way that's healthy for them. And that's different for every student. Cutter noticed this. And spitballing one day, I was like, I need a brand. And as many of your all hobbies are important, I used to play video games a lot, and I had a character with its nickname was Patches. I was like, how could I get this across my two passions? Saving cats, teaching math. And he's like, Patch, you're a patcher. We were doing TNR, grassroots. The Somerset, Pulaski County Humane Society was helping us to begin with, and they gave us TNR slots where we would trap them, get them neutered or spayed, and then keep them in a recovery room. And then I would notice that where they were stray cats that hadn't had health checks before, that they'd have health issues, and so then I would patch up that, and then I'd notice another issue and I'd patch up that. And Cotter himself is a patcher. The cats are warm right now because Cotter patched the electricity. Literally, there was a frayed wire connecting the cat shack to the fuse box. I'm not an electrician, but he patched it. I've got video footage that I hope to update on catpatchinc.org one day. I not only patch up catch, I patch up your students' understanding of math. I patch up the emotional experience they have when they interact with math. I help heal your students, or we help, because again, we collaborate, heal your students' relationship with mathematics, one patch, one problem at a time. Not to be cheesy, but patching up mathematics is taking all the little pieces that students have and helping them, draw the edges between those vertices, connect those dots, if you will. And most of the students have the dots. Our lessons give them the connections, and if there's an unhealthy connection, we work on that. And most of the students aren't aware that that's happening. But they find by 6 months to a year in, they're like, I don't dread math as much, and I actually think I'm good at math. And that's my favorite thing, when a student who thinks they're not good at math thinks they're good at math, and they are good at math. So I have this goal. Cutter helped me identify my passions. He helped me found. He was the co-founder to both Cat Patch Inc. and Patch Math LLC, or patchmath.com. And his legacy will live on in both of these companies because I couldn't have done it alone. One of my greatest teachers in this life is Cutter. And I hope I can share more about that one day. This video is getting long enough. The final thing I want to say is that you heard me mention that me being a tutor, a teacher, helped me realize that I didn't have math fully understood. And it helped me finally understand math. That was the 5-year and is still the 5-year business plan of Patch Math to offer to my students. By the 5th year of Patch Math being open, originally it wasn't just going to be me patching up students' math understanding or helping students patch their math knowledge. It was going to be my students collaborating. I was going to hire them as tutors, like I was a tutor when I was in high school, like I was a tutor when I was in college, where I could apply these things and realize that I had more to learn, and learn it better. And that's the goal. I can't guarantee it, but that's the goal. And I want to put it out there because it's more likely to be achieved if I state it for the world. One of the highest orders of learning is to teach. We analyze how the person that we're teaching is understanding it. We apply the understanding that we have to it. We figure out how to communicate the understanding that we have, and if we have any gaps in our understanding that we become aware of, we fill them, and then we show the student that learning journey. So here's a little peek behind my learning journey. Patch Math, Cat Patch. Creating these companies was a learning journey that I am grateful for. And it's interconnected to my life journey. And it's interconnected to the world. It's interconnected to your students. So patchmath.com has got a little bit of an update where I've gotten some visuals of this interconnectedness, the extra layer that I work to offer your students. I wouldn't have become aware of this layer if it wasn't for feedback from Cutter Smith. I wouldn't have become aware of my talent as a patcher without Cutter Smith. And so for those of you who adapted in 2025 to help me be there for him, thank you. To my students, thank you for the passion you brought to our lessons. Thank you for trying. Thank you for getting problems wrong. Thank you for teaching me how you see stuff in your head. Thank you for helping me become a better communicator of mathematics. Thank you for the passion and enthusiasm that I gained from our lessons, because it didn't come from me, it came from you, my students. And that passion and enthusiasm, I would leave lessons like, hey, Cutter, this is what me and this student went over today, and this is what was so exciting, and this is what I think I did wrong, and this is what I think I can do better. He was my reflection space, my feedback, my cheerleader, my guiding force, co-founder of both Patch Math and Cat Patch Inc. His legacy will live on in these companies, and I wouldn't be where I am today without you guys. So thank you. And I look forward to teaching your students and learning and growing and being lit up with enthusiasm, because that goes on to fuel the rest of my life. Shortly before Cutter passed, he had a lucid moment, and I asked him, it's like, if you had to, what would you want me to do with my life? And of course he's like, what I want you to do doesn't matter. It's about what you want to do. And I was like, oh, I know that. But if you had to answer it, what would you want me to do for the rest of my life. And he said, teach math and save cats. So I guess that's what I'm going to do. Because, and I asked him why. And he said, because that is the most lit up he saw me this year. Saw me. It's how he saw me find myself. And he doesn't want me to lose that spark, that enthusiasm that I gained from both passions. And I see it. And he's right. So I think that's what I'm going to do. My passion is to teach math and save cats. And in order to save those cats, as you all know, I have that buy one, donate one, where every other billing cycle you can choose to donate the value of your invoice to catpatchinc.org instead, where 100% goes directly to Colony Cats. The entire board of directors, none of us take a pay. It's 100% volunteer work. I'm the backbone of that too, and CEO of it. And right now, the goal is to continue pouring back in to Patch Math to help me to pour into Cat Patch. All my passions are interconnected. This passion is interconnected to the experience that your students have in our lessons, which is interconnected to their learning experience as a whole, not just mathematics. I've gotten wordy, and as many of you all know, that's my special talent. Thank you for taking the time to hear this. Thank you for sticking with me through 2025. Here's to a wonderful, enthusiastic, passionate, healthy 2026. Thank you so much for your time.